Hello guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs for part 3 of this series. I've goalkeepers done, right backs done, and today it's top 5 left backs currently in the League of Ireland. Now number 5 I've gone for Paddy Kirk of Bohemians. Now the 20-year-old made 15 appearances in 2019 for the club, which wasn't bad considering Dara Leahy was at the club last season. He's a young player, has a lot of talent, and even though Bo's brought in Anto Breslin this year, who's actually a very good left back as well, I've seen him play a couple of times, it's great for Kirk and Breslin because there's good competition between both those players and they can rotate. But for me, Kirk has more raw ability maybe than Breslin does. Breslin's 23 now as well. He's getting old, isn't he? But Paddy Kirk was part of the youth system at Bohemians, and other players come through the system, and he's promoted to the first team squad in 2018. Obviously learning a bit, etc, etc. He's a player that is similar to Leahy in terms of he's got that kind of modern day full back about him. He can get forward. Probably a kind of more aggressive tackler though than Leahy possibly. But he's a good player, and he's a player I think that can really kick on this season. Again, I know they brought in Breslin, but I think Paddy Kirk is a player that by the end of the season you could be putting him higher in this list essentially. But a player that I admire, and I know some Bows fans even would say he's as good as Leahy, which is interesting as well. But I have him in at number 5. Now number 4 in this list I have Kieran Coily from Derry City. Now Kieran spent 9 years at Finn Harps. The Donegal man is now 28. He was one of the best left backs in the league last season, had a really good season with Derry City under Declan Devine, as many of their players did. But he's a player that now at 28 is starting to reach his personal peak, I think. As I said, he was at Finn Harps for 9 years. Has improved a lot in the last couple of years, which is why he got the move to Derry as well. And arguably was the best left back in the league last season, actually. But number 4, you know, I could easily have him higher in the list, to be honest, as well. But have him at number 4. He played 31 times for Derry City last season. He's a player that mightn't be the quickest player, but again has a decent delivery on him. And sorry about the lighting there, lads. The sun just went in. Yeah, he has a decent delivery on him and works well with the Derry City backline. And a player that this season he's played a couple of games, 2 games this season. I believe he was injured though as well, so he hasn't really kicked on this season. Obviously the break as well, so he'll be fit and well by the time we get started again, hopefully. So yeah, Kieran Coily, Derry City at number 4. 3 have gone for Sean Cavanaugh, Shamrock Rovers. An interesting one, Sean, because he's 26 years of age, but he can play left midfield, he can play wing back, so he's got that versatility in him, and he's kind of a comfortable player on that left-hand side for Rovers. He doesn't make many mistakes, and he kind of developed into a left back. Last season, he was very good at left back, and I think he was one of the players that was underrated, actually, at Shamrock Rovers last season, keeping Lafferty out of the side as well, which is no mean feat. Now, for this season, he started the season injured, and he was going to miss the first couple of months of the season. If the league starts again, hopefully he should well be back by that stage. So he's, I'm sure, working hard to hopefully get back for whenever the league starts again. He actually had surgery on a chipped bone in his knee, would you believe? Which sounds a bit manky, let's be honest about it. Last season, he played 57 games and scored 5 goals for Rovers. Sorry, between 2018 and 19, so last two seasons he played 57 games and scored 5 goals. He has 11 caps for the Irish under-21s and 2 goals. He was over in England with Fulham, amongst other clubs, and Hartlepool, but at 26, he came back, I think, at 24. And another player who hasn't regretted the decision. He feels he could play in the lower leagues, actually, in England, no problem, in which you would say he could, but he just prefers to play in Ireland and come back to Shamrock Rovers and play there. So I think he's a little bit underrated still, though, because Shamrock Rovers have so many good players and so many different all over the field. He's one of those players, he's a real steady Eddie. very comfortable. He doesn't stand out when you watch him play, but he doesn't really make mistakes when you look at him, and he can pop up with a goal as well, as I said before. So for me, number 3 on the list is fair enough for Sean Cavanaugh. Now, number 2 on the list, I've actually gone for Darragh Leahy for Dundalk. I was going to say Bohemians, but most of his performances so far obviously would have been seen at Bohemians and the Irish under-21s for that matter. He's just signed for Dundalk, where he's played 2 games. He was excellent for the under-21s, I thought, last season. For Bohs, a lot of Bohs fans say he was a bit up and down, but still a very, very good player. And he's only 21 years of age, so, you know, a player that's going to improve and improve and improve, to be fair. He was part of Stephen Kenny's under-21 squad as well. Excellent under-21 squad that included players like Troy Parrish and Adam Ida, Malumphey, players like that, like so Darragh O'Shea. And he was first choice left back, and I've seen him play for the under-21s as well. Very comfortable in that team with those players in that setting. He made 25 appearances for Bohemians last season as well, so, you know, another player, by the way, who was over in England, young player who was over in England, and he was with Coventry, and, you know, he didn't really settle over there, and he came back to Ireland and hasn't regretted since. You have to remember, he's been part of the under-21 Irish squad because of his performances for Bohemians over the last couple of seasons. So, another example of a young player going to England and coming back to Ireland, but actually moving up a level. That can happen as well, because I think, you know, they can't settle some players in England, and, you know, they get back to being at home essentially and with a local club. So Darragh Leahy, I think, is very, very good. I think he's number 2 on the list. I think he has potential, much potential to improve big time, I think, as well. And he has an interesting battle on his hands at Dundalk, which I'll talk about in a minute. But for me, Darragh Leahy, number 2 on the list. Now, number 1, I've gone for Dane Massey of Dundalk. I think the 31-year-old is very underrated still, I think. I talked about Sean Gannon in the video for the top right backs, and maybe that's one of the reasons Sean Gannon's been excellent for Dundalk. But Dane Massey has been there since 2013 after his transfer from Bray, and he's been there throughout all the successes. So he's won everything that Gannon has won at the same time. You know, he's played 152 games for Dundalk and he scored 15 goals overall. This season, for example, he scored 1 goal in 4 appearances, and he has kept Leahy out a little bit. In fairness, I talked about Leahy's going to have a tough task in his hands, and the reason is Dane Massey. And that's a great thing for Dundalk that they have. The experience of a 13-year-old Dane Massey who's been there, Mr. Consistent for Dundalk through it all, and then if someone young and hungry with serious potential as an option as well. The 2 of those players would walk on most teams of the league. And I do think Dane Massey's been underrated throughout the years, to be fair. And the fact that so far, more or less, he's held Leahy off keeps him on the list for me at number 1. And I've seen him play in big games. And similarly to Cavanaugh at Shamrock Rovers, where he doesn't really get the credit he deserves either and can pop up with a goal. He scored the winner against Derry City this season, the opening day of the season. And I think he's the player on the Dundalk team, the quiet man as such, that people don't really talk about when they talk about Dundalk. But for me, until he's dislodged by Leahy, I'm going to put him in as number 1 on this list as the best left back in the league currently, in my opinion. Vastly, vastly underrated. So that's it, guys. That's the top 5 left backs, in my opinion, in the league at this minute in time. Who would you have on the list? Is there anyone different you would have on the list? Who do you like? I've centre backs coming up next, so that was actually very difficult, by the way. The centre back one was my hardest one, I think, so far. I've actually have it written down as such, you know what I mean? But I'm going to be doing that video very soon as well. So goalkeeper's done, right back's done, left back's done. Check out all the videos, guys. I'll put them in as end screens if I can. And that's about it, really. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new. Plenty other videos up there, and I hope everyone's keeping well. It's a tough time, but look, we'll keep motoring along. See you later. Good luck, lads. Bye-bye now.